Good evening, everyone. This is Sarah in Japan, and welcome back to another biblical read-along. Today I'm going to be continuing on in our series, Lessons from King David, a Man After God's Own Heart. And we will be reading Psalm 50 today. And basically, Psalm 50 deals with the fact that God is the judge. God is the judge over all, and He is the final judge of all. And that He is the ruler of all, that everything on this earth and everything in the universe belongs to Him. Also, we're going to be talking about a little bit about sacrifice, which comes up in verse 5, okay? So let's begin. Verse 1, The mighty God, even the Lord, hath spoken, and called the earth from the rising of the sun unto the going down thereof. Out of Zion the perfection of beauty God hath shined. Verse 3, Our God shall come and shall not keep silence. A fire shall devour before him, and it shall be very tempestuous round about him. He shall call to the heavens from above, and to the earth, that he may judge his people. Verse 5, please underline this. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So gather my saints, those who have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. So not everybody, those who have not made the sacrifice, really need to make sure that they understand what they need to do. Okay, so what is this sacrifice that's being mentioned here? Of course, if you read down in the chapter, it talks about, like, verse 14, offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. It also talks about what are the sacrifices of God, and that's found in the following Psalm 51, verse 17. The sacrifices of God are a broken spirit, a broken and contrite heart, O God, thou wilt not despise. So, and you back up a little bit to verse 16, and it says, For thou desirest not sacrifice, else I would give it. Thou delightest not in burnt offering. And this is not talking about the Lord doesn't want sacrifice at all. It's talking about that up until now, the sacrifice of animals and beasts is not what He's really looking for. He's looking for us to give a sacrifice of ourselves. And if you hop over to Romans chapter 12, verse 1, this is the sacrifice that He wants from us, along with thanksgiving, okay, and acknowledgement. This is what He wants. Chapter 12, verse 1 of Romans. Please flip over there. It says, I beseech you, therefore, brethren, by the mercies of God, that ye present your bodies a living sacrifice, holy, acceptable unto God, which is your reasonable service. And Jesus Himself says that anyone who would follow me needs to die to themselves. Okay, and Paul talks about dying to ourselves daily. Needs to pick up our crosses and pick up our crosses and follow Him. So we have to deny ourselves and pick up our crosses and follow Him, is what He's looking for. We give up ourselves, which is the reasonable. It's a reasonable request, since God gave up everything. He gave up His Son, and Jesus gave up His own life on the cross. Had His body broken, His blood spilled to redeem us. So it's only fair that we should give up ourselves, die to ourselves, die to our sin nature. Okay, moving on. I'm not going to keep talking a lot. This is allergy season for me, and it's really been rough. So my throat is a little bit scratchy, so I'm going to move on here. All right, verse 6, and the heavens shall declare His righteousness, for God is judge Himself, Selah. Verse 7, Hear, O my people, and I will speak. O Israel, I will testify against thee. I am God, even thy God. Verse 8, I will not reprove thee, for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me. Verse 9, I will take no bullock out of thy house, nor he-goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. Verse 11, I know all the fowls of the mountains, and the wild beasts of the field are mine. Verse 12, if I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness thereof. Verse 13, will I eat the flesh of bulls, or drink the blood of goats? Verse 14, offer unto God thanksgiving, and pay thy vows unto the Most High. Verse 15, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. Verse 16, but unto the wicked God shall saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou should takest my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing, verse 17, seeing thou hatest instruction, and casted my words behind thee. So, those who do not want to take instruction from the Lord, who hate his instruction, this is for them. So, verse 18, when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been a partaker with adulterers. Verse 19, thou givest thy mouth to evil, and thy tongue frameth deceit. Verse 20, thou sittest and speakest against thy brother, thou slanderest thine own mother's son. 21, these things hast thou done, and I kept silence. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself. This is interesting. So, listen here. Thou thoughtest that I was altogether such as one as thyself, but I will reprove thee, and set them in order before thine eyes. Now consider this, ye that forget God. Better underline this. Verse 22. Now consider this, ye that forget God, lest I tear you in pieces, and there be none to deliver. Verse 23. Whoso offereth praise glorifieth me, and to him that ordereth his conversation aright will I show the salvation of God. Okay, so that concludes my read-along for Psalm 50. I will be back hopefully tomorrow, and I hope to pick up the pace a little bit. So I bless you all in the name of Jesus Christ. I'm out. Good night.